So I am here today with a very, very special guest. This is the Foxanator.
Sup guys? We're going to see how you made my special superhero costume.
Yeah, so this year the Foxanator has decided to dress up as her superhero self for Halloween, and I have had the honour to make the costume with her. Have you anything to say?
All I can say is it's going to be really cool.
Really cool. Enjoy the video, guys!
I am drawing the Foxanator costume. I'm taking my time.
So the first thing you need to do is dissolve the dye powder in a pint of boiling water. Then in a large bowl or pot, put in 6 litres of cold water that you will then mix the dyed water with, and add 10 tablespoons of salt. I actually did 9 by accident. Whoops, didn't count properly. And so we're just going to add in the dye and watch it all mix in. Now once we have that done, we're going to start putting the clothes in. I had a bit of fun here just dipping it in. It was enjoyable. So yeah, get all the fabric in, stir it up. The packaging says to leave it for an hour, but I left it overnight just to give it some extra dyeing time. And then you need to rinse it out with some cold water before you put it into the washing machine. So yeah, put it in the washing machine at around 30 degrees. And of course, you gotta pet the dog and then dry off those clothes afterwards. Okay, so once it's dry, we need to make sure it fits properly. So I put the clothes on her and I pinned it in to the right size. So yeah, now I'm just tracing over where I put the pins, just so I know when I take them out. And I am going to be taking the whole top apart, and then I'll be sewing it all back together again later on. So I'm just measuring it out, making sure everything's evenly going to be cut down and made smaller. And now I am putting all the reflectors on. So in the original design, it was actually going to be lights, but unfortunately that was going to be too expensive. So we changed that up for some reflectors, a cheaper solution. Okay, so now the reflectors are on, I am sewing everything together again at the seams, right sides together, and then I am putting wings in, so I will sew the sleeves together and the sides together with the wings in between as well. Okay, so we are going to now add a logo and some stripes on. So I didn't have any fabric paint, so I used some fabric glue and acrylic paints and mixed them together, and that worked quite well. So here I am mixing the paint. So once the paint is mixed, you're going to need to use preferably a sponge to dab it on over the stencil that I made without filming. Sorry about that. I actually didn't have a sponge, so what I used was a piece of felt fabric and I just dabbed it on over the stencil and then took the stencil up. Okay, so now we're moving on to the legs, and we're doing a very similar thing to what we did on the top, but instead of taking the whole legging apart, I actually just opened up the seam in one area where I was going to be putting on the reflectors, so I could sew those on while they're flat. And actually you can see here I glued them on a little bit with the fabric glue first, because if I pinned it there would be a hole in the material and it would just look a bit funny. So yeah, once I had it glued on, I sewed over the reflectors and then I sewed the legging back up again. And I also I cut it down a little bit just to make them fit a little bit better. These were actually an okay fit from the start, so I didn't have to do much at all. Okay, so here I'm just going to sew the seams all back together to bring them back to a normal pair of leggings. Okay, and I'm doing the same thing on the leggings as I did on the top. I used masking tape and dabbed over with the paint to create stripes in between the reflective strips. And I found this part so satisfying. I love peeling masking tape off after painting over it. Okay, so now we have the main body of the costume done. We're going to start working on the accessories. Here I am making a mask, like a ninja mask that ties around the back. So I cut out a straight strip and I fold it over and cut it over the side just to make sure that it's all completely straight. Okay, so here I'm just trying to find out where I'm going to put the holes for the eyes, trying to measure out on my own face. And once I have that measured, I marked it with a pencil. And after that, I got scissors and cut out eye shapes on each side. And here I am, I've got it folded over so that it's even on the top and the bottom of the eye, and I'm cutting it out as I said I would like 2 minutes ago. Okay, so I didn't want to fold over the edge, so I decided to use a zigzag stitch to stop it fraying at all and just go over the edges on the top and the bottom, and also on the holes for the eyes. Okay, so the next thing I needed to make was the tail. I was quite excited for this. I didn't really know if it was going to work, and it did. So I cut out this shape, and after I did that, I cut out little shapes with the reflectors to stick onto the tail. Something that would just look nice, make it look more like fur on the bottom. So once those shapes are cut out and you found a nice position for them, I would suggest you use some fabric glue to glue them down and then sew over them and sew them on. Once they're sewn on, cut any threads and sew the tail right sides together, leaving a gap at the very top so that you can stuff it. Okay, so here I'm using some stuffing from an old project. Don't know what that was from, but I didn't have enough, so I had to use some scraps from some other projects in the past. And now I'm going to put a little tag on, or not a tag, but it's a little tab that will allow it to go onto the belt around her waist. So that will go in the hole at the top that we left, where we were stuffing it through. And you want to press that together so that the seams are touching each other, and put the tag in at the top there. So the seams are in the middle, which allows the tail to fall nicely off the belt.
Hey guys, so unfortunately the video was too long for one video, so we're going to split it into 2 parts. So thank you all for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe and hit the notification button, and we will see you all in 2 weeks. Bye!
Goodbye.